Hello, everybody. Today I am here with Reads with Rachel, who I know a lot of you guys like. I have Reads with Rachel was a guest on our Your Morning Guru show a couple weeks ago, and I got people in the comments saying,
Matchmaker.
Savvy and Rachel are two book reviewers that I like to watch, so I love seeing you together. And that makes me really happy because I love Rachel's videos. Rachel, you want to introduce yourself for anyone who doesn't already know your channel?
Do you know who I am?
Sure. I'm Rachel. My channel is Reads with Rachel, and I make super positive, non-snarky content that is very nice and never say a negative thing about books ever.
Nice. Nice.
Great, just like me.
All of that is, I'm just twins with Savvy. We're just two toxically positive ladies out on the YouTube town. Yeah, so I make content about books. I am very snarky.
Because you are a mean girl!
I do things like authors behaving badly, did it deserve 1 star, where I read a book if it gets review bombed.
You're a bitch!
And I also talk about fundies because I grew up fundamentalist Christian.
And that's why I think, since you are an ex-fundamentalist Christian and a book reviewer and a mom, I think all of those things together make you the perfect person to review the book together with that we're going to be reviewing today, which is written by an author who is behaving badly.
True.
And that author is Kirk Cameron. Kirk Cameron, former teen child star of the 80s to 90s sitcom Growing Pains.
Yes.
Who, older brother of Candace Cameron from Full House, and star of Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, the movie about why we need to put the Christ back in Christmas. Overall, washed up child star turned adult who can't stop talking about Christianity everywhere.
No, Savvy, I'm sorry, that's not true. That's incorrect. I actually have to correct you because the back of the book says that Kirk Cameron is an icon in film.
Oh, he's an icon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it says right here that he is a where the
I will say there is a dance at the end of Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas that's pretty iconic, where they all do, everyone breaks into a synchronized dance to a hip-hop remix of Hark the Herald Angels Sing. That was pretty iconic.
All of his career was leading to that. It says it right here that Kirk has had an impact on our society through films like Fireproof, blah, 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 and is an icon in the television and film industry.
Oh,
so,
okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that somebody learned something from this book.
Okay. Well, now I've learned. Yes, this book taught me that Kirk Cameron is indeed still famous. Good to know. So Kirk Cameron himself. So if you guys have seen Rachel's channel, she has this awesome series called Authors Behaving Badly, where she talks about all these authors that are doing just annoying shit in the name of trying to sell more books.
Dump out your sack!
Which is the thing I talk about too. So if you like that, you should check out those videos on Rachel's channel because she's got a lot. So I thought today we'd talk about an author who's been behaving badly, who is Kirk Cameron, who I don't know if I guess I'll call him an author because he wrote this book, but it seems like more of a cash grab than anything, and he's mad that it's not working. That's how it's coming across to me.
I would agree. I would almost think that this was written just to try to create outrage because he knew that it would get backlash because he's attached to it.
Yes. So Kirk Cameron wrote this book here called As You Grow, which is a picture book for children published by a company called Brave Books. Now, on this channel, before I put this video out, I'm going to have another video up on my channel going in depth on the company Brave Books, and I am going to be reviewing more of their books in the future.
I'm so excited.
For some background, Brave Books is basically a publishing company making far right-wing conspiracy theory content for children.
Perfect. Just what we needed.
Literally what it is. Yes. And, I don't think in general political messaging necessarily belongs in children's books, depending on what the messaging is and how it's done. But if we're talking about like things that are actually political in terms of like discussions of different economic systems, discussions of how government and policy should work, like that's above a lot of the heads of kids who are going to be reading stuff like this. So I think it's just like not necessarily the right audience to be aiming that towards in the first place. And that's not just a right-wing thing, no matter which side of the aisle you're on. Like, you shouldn't be writing books to pander to the parents and make the parents feel morally superior for buying them. You should be writing books for a kid because a kid would actually enjoy what's happening in the book.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway from this, was that this was not written for children. This was written for instilling very particular ideas into kids so that they grow up up to be a very particular kind of adult. But instead of the ideas being normal things that we want to instill in children to make them productive members of society and, you know, helpful to each other and themselves, and like emotionally intelligent, it's just like, do Jesus things because I said so. And it's like, well, this is empty. This has the caloric density of a communion wafer. There's nothing in here.
Boom. Roasted.
So it's just nothing. Like nothing in here even makes sense. It's to me, like there's no fluidity with what the message is trying to teach, even if he's claiming at the end where it's like, I'm trying to teach fruits of the spirit. You didn't do that. You failed. Yeah. So you failed at this book. It's time to take it back for a reprint because it's not good. I will say, though, that the art, shout out to illustrator Juan Moreno because his art is excellent.
Art's beautiful. I will say that.
I kind of want to take it and like scrapbook my way to a better book.
That's, you know what I mean? My God, you totally should. I would read that.
I want to be like, as you grow, and then like slap in just like cover this up and put my own story in here. Like,
that's a great idea. Like books where it's like celebrities clearly just writing a book to sell something and they hire a really talented illustrator. We take the art and make a new book out of it that actually is something better.
It's brilliant.
Listen, I paid for this, so I'm gonna do it.
Me too. I can cut this book apart if I want to. I love when I read children's books and I can say with confidence that I am a 30-year-old woman with a master's degree in English, and I don't fucking understand this book for children. That's a sign that it was not well written, in my personal opinion.
No, it did not have a purpose. It did not. It's very clear to me that Kirk did not think that he really thinks that because he is a Christian and a husband and a father, that he has knowledge and authority to teach children, because that's what we're told is that, you know, the parents teach us, but the man is always in charge. Mm-hmm. Well, Kirk, my guy, my brother in Christ, quite literally, you don't seem to be able to form a coherent sentence for a child. So I'm a little concerned. I wonder, does he write adult books? Because my God, I wonder what's inside of those.
Let's find out. It looks like his mom wrote a book called A Full House of Growing Pains about...
Oh, you've gotta be joking.
About raising the stars of Full House and Growing Pains as siblings.
No.
Wait,
no, ma'am.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. No. In a flash, Barbara Cameron had it all. 2 children, stars of top-rated sitcom television series, on the covers of magazines, followed by paparazzi, hounded by fans, invited to Hollywood parties, rubbing shoulders with megastars. Dude, how long is she gonna go on? I get that they're famous. Rubbing shoulders with megastars, traveling the world, and living the good life. Kirk Cameron, aka the mischievous Mike on Growing Pains, became the practical jokester on set and teen heartthrob offset. No.
That is a lie. Lying is a sin, Barbara.
Imagine being his mom writing a book how your son is a teen heartthrob. That's so awkward. So
I can't. I can't.
The plot is watch Sky Tree grow into a haven for Freedom Island and a symbol of hope for all. Starting from a seed, Sky Tree has grown into a massive tree through the trials and triumphs along the way. As you track the gentle giant's growth, read the words of wisdom that guide this tree, and learn about love, joy, and gentleness with your family through the Brave Challenge at the end of the book. Brave Books is a publisher dedicated to shaping a future generation of Americans who will fight for a nation defined by freedom, truth, humility, bravery, and compassion. Wow, the topics in this saga include the dangers of socialism, perseverance, overcoming fear, and leadership.
Okay, first of all, I never read the back, but I shouldn't be that shocked, but I am shocked that they said the quiet part out loud. We're dedicated to shaping a future generation of Americans.
Yeah, is that not grooming? Isn't that literally grooming?
It's right-wing grooming. And also, I again did not read the back, but was the tree anthropomorphized? Because I don't remember the tree ever.
The tree didn't say anything.
No, the tree did not have any sort of I didn't want to say commentary, but also like no like the tree never said a word.
The tree
but
had
also,
no agency. The tree
had no agency.
It didn't do anything.
The tree was not given personhood, so I'm very confused. Like, I thought the tree was just a tree. Was the tree supposed to be super important? Because that's news to me as someone who read the book twice.
What does that even mean?
I've noticed that as like a common theme in like hard right-wing celebrities writing books is that they don't give the main character agency, probably because they don't want kids to think that they have agency. That's my guess, because
100%.
A lot of times when you're writing books for children, the idea is that you're supposed to give the kid a lot of agency, or the animal main character, whoever the protagonist is, because you want the kid to be able to understand problem solving along with them, understand how they get from point A to point B, and be inspired by their story. Mm-hmm. But in a lot of these books, like if you think about like Johnny the Walrus that Matt Walsh put out, Johnny, the main character, didn't do anything in the book. He just like sat there while his mom made decisions for him, and then his mom ended up being wrong. But then other people made other decisions to undo those. It was all about like kids need to listen to adults, and adults will make the decisions, and kids will just sit there. And that's kind of the overall theme of all of these books.
That's 100% it. Not you having to tell me like after the fact that the tree was the main character all along. And I had no idea. The
book
map
starts with a map of so there's a whole universe for these books in the Brave Books Publishing Company series. And this is Freedom Island, where they all live, and Freedom Island is supposed to be America. And then above Freedom Island, they have Utopia directly north of it, which is supposed to be like Canada. And Utopia isn't supposed to be literal. It's supposed to be more of a dystopia, because then they have a book about how Utopia Island gives out free ice cream, and it just ends up being a disaster.
It's a metaphor.
And it's kind of supposed to be like how Canada gives out free healthcare, and that's a disaster, and we would never have that in the Freedom Island of America, because capitalism is the best system, which there are also other books detailing why capitalism is the best system, as if a 3-year-old knows what that means.
Wow. So this map is used to make books not by Kirk Cameron, so this is not just a Kirk Cameron thing.
Is like, there's a whole universe, So Kirk Cameron's book is in this universe. There's books by just, like, general authors that write for this company, but then there's also books by, like, other right-wing media personalities. I don't think Steven Crowder's book is in this universe, even though it is published by the same company, because it has human main characters. Not yet, maybe it will be. But these all have like animal main characters, and like some of them are written by like people who have been imprisoned and things. Like, it's a wild story, dude. There's like this whole crazy universe surrounding
this. The question is this Zootopia fan fiction?
That's a good question, and I'm going to go with yes, but only if we can acknowledge that Zootopia was made by furries and is a Fursona fantasy come to life. So do these books take place in the furry universe? Yes.
I would argue yes. I would agree with that.
Was Kirk Cameron a furry all along? Yes.
The real furries were the friends we made along the way reading this book.
So, Kirk Cameron wrote this book, and he got upset. As you would say, upsetty spaghetti. I like that phrase.
Upsetty spaghetti.
He sure did. He got mad because no libraries wanted him to host a story time to read this book.
Okay, maybe they didn't want him because the book is bad.
So when I first heard this, he was trying to make this out to be a thing where he's like, these libraries, they want to have all these story times where they read these books that push the gay agenda, all these gay leftist books, but they don't want a good Christian book. They don't want a Christian wholesome family book read by me, Kirk Cameron. And then I was like, all right, well, let's look into this. Is it possible that this is not a political thing, and that maybe it's because, one, Kirk Cameron is extremely annoying, and two, because the book's not very good? Turns out, yes, those are the reasons. But he went on this, like, whole crusade about this.
We have the holy hand grenade.
Yes, of course! The holy hand grenade of Antioch!
I bet you that if you were to look in the emails, the library's probably like, hey, Kirk, you're welcome to come read a book sometime, but not that one because it's fucking shit, Kirk. So if you could pick a different book, Kirk, that'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, he got mad because, like, libraries, he was reaching out to see if he could do a story time on tour, and these libraries were like, No, your work doesn't really align with our values. And he was like, that's because the library's values are leftist. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true. It might just be because you, Kirk Cameron, are an extremely annoying person that people don't want at the library.
I'm surprised that Kirk Cameron is even willing to go to a library, since those are socialist, hellscapes for him.
Libraries are publicly funded. Why would this company even support libraries when
I'm
libraries... Shocked. If we lived in a fully capitalist world, the government wouldn't be funding libraries. People
Correct.
would just be buying books and the free market would determine the price of them.
Correct. We would have no libraries. And in fact, they would probably bump up the price of this book because, why allow anybody to get it for, what was it, $25?
I don't even remember how much this was. 18 American dollars, as Dave Hollis would say.
Bump that shit up to like $60. It's the free market. It's capitalism hours.
Yeah, you could just see how much you could get away with selling it for.
So honestly, I would like Kirk Cameron to explain. Well, first of all, I'd like him to explain a lot of things, like what was the reason for any of. I don't understand, but I'd like him to explain why he even wants to go to the library. Yeah, if you hate socialism so much, why go?
Fight it from the inside, I guess. Go to the library where all the little socialist kids are sitting, mooching off of free government books, and teach them why what they're doing is wrong. Get them out of the library and
that's
into
probably
the
why
bookstore.
The libraries didn't want him there. Like they didn't want him to show up and be like, and actually, kids, you, even though you don't have any money, should have had to pay for this. Hand over your $18, kiddos.
Right? So this book is extremely short. Kirk Cameron wrote like almost no words for this book. Every page has like a couple words on it, which can be done well. I want to be clear. There are children's books that have very few words, but the words that are chosen carefully to make the story interesting, or sometimes they're done in a poetic way, or they choose words that have certain sounds or certain literary devices behind them. None of that here. He just wrote this as lazy as possible.
What's interesting about this is that I thought that now I'm doing story time. I thought that all of the stuff would look like this, where it's like kind of whimsical and on like paper, but then it switches over to just typed words, all of which don't make any sense. And sometimes the formatting on them is wrong, where it's like you can't really read the letters because they're really dark and there's like a dark background, like one has a leaf. And I'm like, so y'all put a lot of time and effort into making this book for kids, but you couldn't make it so that they could read it okay? Like,
no kid can read
this
book. Why is the text so small, too? There's a lot of room in the illustrations.
There's so much room.
You could learn how to do a drop shadow, maybe, so that you could... Like, there's so many things you could do to make this text more readable in the first place.
I was so confused by that. And again, like the art, shout out to Juan Moreno, because this is beautiful art.
Great art. Love the art.
But what is going on with literally every other part of this? Because the words, the meaning of the words, it's sort of just like somebody took the alphabet and started throwing it at the book instead of forming like a cohesive sentence that would make kids understand it. I don't get it at all.
So it seems that the rough plot of this book is that there's a story going on in the text, and then in the illustrations there's a background story about a tree. So the text is telling you about how as you grow older, you're going to grow older, basically. And then there's the first page, there's an acorn, and then the tree starts to sprout. The tree gets a little bigger. It's a little skinny thing there, and then it just grows bigger on every page until at the end there's this beautiful big tree that is supporting everyone and all the life and everything. So the tree art is very cool.
Then is the tree supposed to represent the child? Like, what's going on with the subtext here?
I don't fucking know. So it's like, okay, so it has, at first we like dog whistle God a little bit. It says, you were made to point up to the one who loves you best. And then we've got some tigers all pointing at God just to say, Jesus
wait, we cannot breeze past these tigers. This mother tiger, for God knows what reason, has an entire braid. So why does she have hair? Why did we have to assert gender norms, just like impress upon these poor animals? human gender norms.
She already has fur, and then she just has separate. It's like, it reminds me of like when SpongeBob goes to the beach and has to learn how to swim, and I'm like, the man lives underwater already, and I'm like, she's already got fur on her head. Where's this extra hair coming from?
And that was not literally the next page. That's a cheetah. There's
a cheetah with like a big Ariana Grande ponytail.
A whole Ariana Grande ponytail. Why? I don't understand. And like, first of all, the shirt that the cheetah is wearing though is super cute. I wonder if that exists in real life because I would buy it.
Oh, that is a cute shirt. Yeah. These animals have style, I've got to say. Like that one fox in the background, I'm looking at his whole outfit right there.
Fucking dapper. Absolutely.
I'd wear that. I'd dress like that fox. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And like, I appreciate the tea time, the art. Again, I'm not going to stop saying how good it is. But
other than the additional hair added onto already furry animals.
And like, I also take issue with the messaging on this particular page.
Sometimes love hurts, but it is always worth it.
And what do you, like, to a kid, especially like I have an autistic kid who will take things very literally. He's going to ask me, why would love hurt, mama?
Love stinks.
Like, and then I'm going to have to be like, well, okay, so people who love you should not hurt. Like, why did you do this? Like, why did you do this? Not a single person who understands child development was asked about this page, at least. I mean, the whole book probably, but definitely this page.
It is always worth it. That's such a terrible message to give kids. Love should not hurt. It shouldn't hurt.
No. Like,
no.
Why? What?
Sometimes, what the fuck does that mean? What situation could Kirk Cameron be possibly imagining where love is hurtful to a child but is worth it?
And like, again, so the tree, if the tree is supposed to represent the child, and we're breaking off a branch of the tree to give to somebody who like needs a crutch, I think is what happened.
Yeah, that really sexy fox right there, who was definitely made for the furry gaze.
God, he's dapper.
that fox is breaking off a branch of the tree for his friend there, who seems to need a cane because he's broken his leg. So he's given that to him, I guess. And like, if a kid is looking at this, they're going to be like, okay, I need to break off pieces of myself to support other people. And I'm like, no, that is not what I want to teach my kids about loving others. You should not have to break pieces of yourself because that's bad. that's very bad. Sacrificing pieces of yourself for other people is not really a part of the individualist capitalist messaging. If we're living in an individualist free market where we all have the ability to do whatever we want and ownership of our own everything, then supporting other people through having to make a sacrifice ourselves is basically socialism, right? Yeah, it just really I don't get where the line is here. It just really goes to show that, like, when they try to do this whole, like, capitalism good, when you barely even think upon it, capitalism and Christianity are not super compatible as far as, like, the tenets of, like, if you're actually trying to be like Christ. And also, I don't like, this is just all of this is weird. All of this is weird. I do not understand. How can you be like socialism bad, but cut off pieces of yourself to support others? What? Why? And then the next page says, because you've been cared for, care for others. So I should care for others only because I've been cared for? Like, again, my kid is going to take this super literally. So I will say I do like that the male cheetah there also has hair on top of his fur. He's got a little... Yeah, he's got a little style going on too, just so we know the artist is not sexist. He gives all the animals extra hair that they don't need. Yeah, I appreciate that. I love that the older people, they're not people. I mean, they want me to think they're people. The older animals. The older animals have gray hair on top of their not gray fur. Right, their fur doesn't turn gray when they get older, but their hair does turn gray when they... Okay. That totally makes sense. I love this. Very anthro of you. Excellent. If you look 2 pages down, first of all, this tree art is beautiful. It's gorgeous. I love this. All the stuff, the tree's getting bigger, stuff is growing in there. The text is barely readable because... Yep. This text, if they just shifted it like a couple millimeters to the left, we wouldn't have this problem. Yep. But they didn't shift it, and instead the black text is on top of a dark green leaf, when they could have just shifted it and then we wouldn't have this issue, because see how the light blue continues over here. Whoever formatted this just got really lazy on this page.
A leftist.
Some lazy leftist is looking for a handout. Decided not to work on this book and still get paid.
The capitalists are like, see, this is the problem with quiet quitting.
When you've grown big, be excited to join something bigger than yourself.
And see, this is the problem when they're trying to make it super literal to the thing that they're trying to convey. So, okay, the kid is the tree, even though the tree is not given personhood like the animals are. So the tree is supporting everybody, but like, you don't have to be big to be part of something bigger than yourself. I mean, you can be small, and my kid, if he's part of like a volunteer project, he's part of something. Like, you can teach that when they're kids. Why do you have to be big to do that? So, like, again, in a literal sense, kids are not going to get it.
I don't know what a kid is expected to take away from this, because I guess the tree was supposed to be some kind of like extended metaphor for you as a person growing up, but it's not consistent whether that's what the tree actually represents, and it just like constantly changes.
Now shut up and eat your garbage.
If the tree is supporting you, or if you are the tree supporting other people. And I just can't imagine a kid understanding this, because like I don't even fully know what like if I was reading this to a kid and they said, "Mommy, explain it to me," I would be like, "Sorry, I can't." Go ask Kirk Cameron. He's a better parent than I would be.
If my 6-year-old asked me, "Mommy, explain this book," I'd be like, "I'm glad you asked. Let's go make a YouTube video about this book, because I'm going to explain to you the differences between people who understand that child development is a very particular science that you have to have understanding of, and people who think that they can just shove platitudes at kids related to Christianity and make future Christians."
I love this page that says, "As you grow, you will know sorrow," and there's just a full-out bloodbath happening on this page. This is just full-on war. These animals went fucking feral, dude.
Listen, having
That's
grown
sorrow.
up Fundie, brutal war is something that we learn very young, so that didn't even occur to me, because I'm over here like, yep, brutal war, kids getting sliced, people getting brutally set on fire, all kinds of stuff. That's totally normal in the Bible. So, yep, that's it. This does not shock me whatsoever.
We've got these rebellious wolves wanting to set everything on fire. And we've got these other animals fighting back. I'm not sure which side's supposed to be which, really. But
are we supposed to sing the Star-Spangled Banner as this is happening? I feel like that was like the subtext, is I'm supposed to be singing the Star-Spangled Banner right now.
Potentially. And then the next page is "Brokenness is never the end," and now they're just cleaning up the effects of this war. I don't know how many animals died in this war, but they're just never the end.
Where are the bodies buried?
Where did they bury all these? Unless this like sexy nurse, deer, antelope, whatever over here saved everybody.
Wait, the longer this goes on, you are slowly shifting into full furry.
That's how this book comes across.
Kirk Cameron was like, "No, make the nurse sexier."
Yeah.
So the thing about this is that as you grow, you will know sorrow, ... but brokenness is never the end. Okay, so let's unpack that from a Fundie perspective, shall we?
Let's do it.
That has nothing to do, like, those two things have nothing to do with each other. So you can take this as like, you will know sorrow. Okay, so you can be sad when you are Christian, you are Fundie, but not too sad. And if it goes on too long without you giving that over to God, then you might be mentally ill. Therefore, you are broken. So they don't see broken as like a literal sense where it's like, this tree is broken. That sucks. It needs a Band-Aid, right? They're talking about sin as brokenness most of the time when they say brokenness. And a kid is not going to get that. A non-Fundie kid is definitely not going to get that. So like when you say brokenness in Fundie land, you're talking about sin. You're talking about sexual brokenness, which can mean everything from, if you hear a man saying, "I struggle with sexual brokenness," it means that he likes to look at porn and has been told that that's a no-no.
I've heard things. Okay, this is remind me, I have another book I need to talk to you about after we're done filming this, because there was this book I read where this dude kept going on about how he was sexually defiled, and I kept thinking he was going to talk about being assaulted, but he just meant that he had premarital sex and felt bad about it.
Yeah, sexual
brokenness. And I was
brokenness.
like, oh, okay.
Yeah, also, he might be also talking about masturbating, because masturbation is considered sexual brokenness.
I have heard, like, Fundie Types say, well, this dude was Jewish, but, like, he was also extremely religious, but I have heard, like, Fundie Types before saying that, like, I struggle with masturbation. I struggle with same-sex attraction. Oh my god. The number of, like, repressed bisexual Christian women I've met who are just, like, they're like, Savvy, I struggle with same-sex attraction. And I'm like, you should
and they'll abbreviate it.
You don't have to struggle with it. You can just enjoy it.
I'm not struggling with it. I'm thriving. I'm thriving.
I'm thriving looking at hot women every day, dude.
What they do is the Fundie jargon, I wish somebody would write like a whole thesis on it so that I could read it, because it's so fascinating. So they call it same-sex attraction rather than queerness, because same-sex attraction perpetuates this idea that it's something that you're afflicted with. And there's side A versus side B Christianity, where it's like side A, I believe, is the one that it's like you choose it and you can never do that, and you need to unchoose it, and that it's not something like you need to just work your way out of it. You need to do conversion therapy. Side B says, and it's just as insidious, but they think that they're being really compassionate to each other and themselves. They're like, oh, you are afflicted with SSA. That's such a bummer. Just marry a guy. You'll be fine. To a woman, you just marry a guy, and you're afflicted, and you just have to work through it. So like Jackie Hill is a side B Christian. Jackie Hill Perry.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. Is it the woman who wrote that book that was like Gay Girl, Good God, where she was like, I used to be a lesbian, but she didn't say it like that. She was like, I used to suffer from same-sex attraction, and now I am over it.
So she says that she still struggles with it because it's something she's afflicted with, as if it is a disease, and that she has to choose every day not to turn against God. She married a guy, they had a kid together, and that's what side B Christians do and believe, is that that's the right way to go. And I just think it's just as insidious as being a flat out homophobe.
The thing is, like, I had this friend once who she was not particularly homophobic, because like she was very supportive of me and she was supportive of other people coming out, but she was like, I myself suffered from same-sex attraction. Like, she still had that whole thing in her head, and she was like, she didn't judge me for it. She was like, oh, I think that's great that you're open about that. But then she would be like, when I had a choice, I wasn't choosing between women and men, I was choosing between women and God.
Yep, there it is.
Yep, and I was like, oh, geez. Oh, no.
Yeah, when it's
I'm still like, oh, no. And she's like, yeah, I don't think I'm bisexual because I've never really been interested in men, but I am interested in serving God. And I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I've had friends like that, and I'm just like, oh, no, I hope you're okay.
Yeah, Anyway, so sexual brokenness, that's a whole thing. And then kids are not going to understand that. And they're not going to understand that, like, what it's saying here is the tree is broken. And sometimes if you get sad, then you're broken, but that's not the end. What are we teaching here? What are you talking about? My kid is going to look at me like, yeah, those are words.
Brokenness is never the end. I guess you could be taking that as like, oh, you can fix problems, you can repair things that have gone wrong. But this is all written so vaguely to the point where it's like, there's no actual story here. Kirk Cameron is just saying sentences.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's empty platitudes, which is a lot of what you experience growing up as a Fundie kid. Yeah. It's like very emotionally shallow. And then it says, remember that the greatest sorrow can lead to the greatest joy. And that, again, is just like not teaching emotional intelligence. It's not teaching that like you are allowed to feel very deeply your joy, but you are also allowed to feel very deeply your sorrow and your anger. But you're supposed to be always joyful in Fundieland. And if you're not, then you're sinning because you're not handing over your negative emotions to God. And so this is just teaching kids that in like subtle language. And yeah, I would never read this to my kid. Not as is anyway. I might scrapbook my way to a better book.
Yeah, you can create a better book for your kid with the art and just like write a little story about the animals hanging out with the tree or something.
For sure. I also love that everybody who's wearing like a uniform is coded as man rather than woman, because God forbid women ever join the military.
No women in the military. Although
Never.
I will say, if we turn to the last page of the book right here, all children are referred to as cadets. So it's definitely not grooming when you refer to children as terms of being within your army. That's definitely... That's not grooming. Brave cadets, Skytree and the animals that live there have been through many seasons of life. As you grow, you will go through many seasons as well. Complete the brave challenge to learn more about the love, joy, and gentleness that will help you on your journey. And then the next page, it gives you like, it talks about how Kirk Cameron's an icon. And then it gives you games that you can play with your family, which is like, I will say, for the back of a children's book, that's a cute idea. I like the idea that it's like, after you read this book, here are some games that you can tie in with the book that you could play with your family. Like, that's cute. I might do that in a book. That's a good idea.
That's a really good idea.
But the games are stupid and don't clearly connect to the book. And also the games all call children cadets. It's like, cadets, you need to deal. Like, why are we addressing children as cadets? That's so weird.
I think that's because, I don't know how much you know about Fundyland, but there's
I don't know enough. I grew up Catholic, but yeah, I was a Catholic, and from what I've heard, the Fundies don't like the Catholics because they're not real Christians. Yeah.
I was taught explicitly that I was told outright Catholicism is not real Christianity. I was taught that Catholics worship a false god by deferring to Mary, actually.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I don't even remember most things about Catholicism. So I don't
God, I wish that were me.
I don't remember. Well, just like I kind of stopped paying attention to it after a while. My mom was never she never tried to impose it that hard on me, which I appreciate. So my mom's a good person. I appreciate her.
Shout out Savvy's mom.
Shout out to my mom. So supportive. Yeah.
So the thing about calling them cadets doesn't surprise me at all, because we're taught that we are in the Lord's army. And there's actually a whole... Oh, I'm not joking. Yeah, there's actually a whole song. Would you like me to... I'm not going to sing it. I will read. Oh, no, I would love...
Yes, tell me the song.
Okay. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never fly over the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir, I'm in the Lord's army. And then it repeats over and over. I'm in the Lord's army.
You just repeat, I'm in the Lord's
army. Yeah.
This is not grooming, though. Having children repeat a phrase over and over again until it's locked into their head about how they are. Imagery about fighting and dying for the Lord.
Savvy, I'm not... That's not grooming. We don't just sing the song. There are full... motion. So I may never march in the cavalry. Hold on. What's the next one? Oh, ride in the cavalry. You ride on a horse. Shoot the artillery, and I never fly over the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yeah. So.
Well, I guess all these kids are in the Lord's army too. That's not grooming at all.
If you ask any of Kirk Cameron's children, quick, sing I'm in the Lord's army, they're going to drop down, give you 15 and sing the song. Like, for sure. Because they're in the Lord's army. Yeah.
The only Christian song I can sing is Jesus loves me, this I know. If he don't, I'll find a hoe. Which is
Man,
I wish into Hood.
I wish I was taught that version. That sounds more fun.
It's a shitty Halloween movie. So.
Savvy.
What?
This was made in Orlando, Florida. No,
it wasn't. Here's what it was, because mine was made in Moni, Illinois. This is definitely cheaply printed on demand, and it's when you order it, whichever printing press is closest to your house prints it and sends it to you from there. That's what it is.
Ew, I don't want to share a state. I don't want to share a state with them. Gross.
I don't think that's where their headquarters is.
Okay, good.
No, it's in Canada. Wait! No way!
Not Utopia!
It says first edition published in the USA, printed in Canada. That's what it says on the copyright page.
No, see, that's
not in the Island of Free Ice Cream.
They have.
You do business with the Island of Free Ice Cream?
Wow, they have shat upon their own principles. How dare they?
I thought everything about this book would have been made in America,
Mm-hmm.
in the Freedom Island.
I thought that the ink was made in America. I thought that every person who touched this book was an American citizen. God-fearing, gun-shooting, Lord's Army American citizen. I'm shocked. I'm appalled, actually.
This book was not fully made in America.
Does Kirk Cameron know? He'll be devastated.
Oh my god, you know what? We just blew this whole thing wide open.
Oh, actually, it says at the back that there's a part 2 coming that says, join Seymour Clues and Mr. Mouse, who look an awful lot like knockoff versions of... Actually, that's exactly the people from The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh,
but okay.
Well, cool. Very original.
But we actually solved the mystery. We don't need Seymour Clues. We did it. We solved the mystery.
The mystery is that
they were socialists all along.
They were colluding with Canada.
They were the real utopians. They were just
Kirk
trying
Cameron,
to keep us out.
What do you have to say for yourself? You let your book get printed in Canada?
Wow.
That's
Kirk,
the island of free ice cream.
I thought less of you than that, Kirk. I thought less of you than that.
Just when I think my opinion of Kirk Cameron can't get any lower. He's secretly in business with Canada behind our back.
Also, there's this page that says, let your strength and gentleness be what draws others to you. I'm just imagining my 6-year-old being like, got it. So if I want to make new friends, I got to get fucking shredded.
Which has been canceled today due to lack of hustle.
Got it.
Strength and gentleness. So you want to get really strong, but also pet lots of puppies. To be fair, I'm a strong, muscular woman who pets lots of puppies, and I think that does make me quite endearing.
Well, then why didn't they just put a picture of you, Savvy, so that they can have something strong and gentle?
Me wearing a muscle mommy crop top right
That's
here.
That's going to be in my version. I'm printing out a picture of you, and I'm putting it on here and be like, let your strength and gentleness, just like Savvy,
when you
bring others
scrapbook
to
it,
you.
just cut out the text right here. Put a picture of me, like, flexing in the muscle mommy crop top hoodie, like, with Chewy. And that's
Perfect.
like, that's strength and gentleness right there, is this bitch.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
nailed it. I'm actually going to take my version to the libraries just to fuck with Kirk Cameron.
Yeah, you could read it at the library, and the kids will be like, oh, who's that?
That's Muscle Mommy, kids.
That's Muscle Mommy, kids.
She'll be in book 2.
Oh my god. Alright, well, this book absolutely sucks.
Terrible.
So, not recommended. Don't spend your money on it. Now, I won't even say unless you want to make it a scrapbook. Like, I'll just mail someone mine if they really want to do that, because don't let Kirk Cameron profit more off of this dumb bullshit. But I'm glad that we got to review it because this was hilarious.
Me too. God, what a time. What an experience.
What a story, Mark.
Yes.
Thanks, Kirk Cameron.
Thank you, Kirk Cameron. We love and appreciate you. Thank you for saving Christmas with your synchronized hip-hop dance to Hark the Herald Angels Sing.
Yeah, Kirk, from one
forget you.
cadet in the Lord's Army to another, I salute you.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Reads with Rachel. She has so many great videos on her channel that you will absolutely love. So if you want great book reviews and great breakdowns of when authors behave badly, just more Kirk Cameron types over there. getting angry when they're not selling enough books instead of just sitting back and thinking, how can I improve next time to sell more books?
True.
You know, sometimes I write books that don't sell well, and what I do is I try to figure out, okay, what wasn't resonating with people? What could I do better next time? Which is what we're all supposed to do, but not some people. Some people.
Savvy, he spent time and blood, sweat, and tears on this, and that means that everybody has to appreciate it, because
Kirk Cameron's literal blood is in this book.
every
page
comes with a drop, like the Satan shoes.
I have made a blood pact with Kirk Cameron after reading this book because I have touched these pages and his blood has soaked into my skin.
That's actually what we do in basic training for the Lord's Army.
All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week. In the meantime, support small businesses and subscribe to Reads with Rachel. Bye!
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should pick up lesbianism.
Chicago.
You guys asked for it.